Yeah, I like it. I like silver cars anyway. Yeah, I think I'd want to build this one. In other news, the main reason I'm here today is to have like a big old sort out and tidy up. Take all the shit out of that car, have a look at it, you know, move all the cage and all that out of the way, and maybe either strip it bare and then get rid of the fucking thing, or have a change of heart and use it rather than this one. But I don't think so. I think this one, the amount of work it will take me. I looked last night and parts alone, so fuel tank, engine mounts, so on, with delivery, all the bits that's missing because I threw them away because I'm an idiot, because I didn't think I'd need them again, adds up to about 200 quid on its own, plus the money and the time of boxing back in the engine bay. That's not a big deal, but it's still work and money, you know. I'm fairly sure it's not worth it. I'm fairly sure the bits missing off this would add up to the 500 quid that this actually cost me. This cost me £500, no joke. Then again, this one cost me, I think it's 400, 350, 450. It was under 500 for this MRS, but yeah, this was £500. I mean, that was more. That was 600, I think, originally. But it was like, you know, fresh MOT. I mean, this has still got an MOT on it. I think, probably still insured, in fact. So yeah, that's my job now. I am gonna have a bit of a tidy, but I'm also gonna try and force myself to just keep going and going and going. Like, I remember back when I was younger, I would, you know, even working on my fucking parents' driveway, I remember being like 18, 19 and working till like 2 o'clock in the morning on my cars to get them ready for whatever. I remember one day getting my Renault 5 Turbo, my second one, which was silver, ready to go to tracks, and literally working the night before till the Saturday night until like 2 AM in the rain as well to get it ready to take it to tracks on the Sunday. Fucking madness thinking back at that. That's some dedication right there. But yeah, I'm gonna see how far I can keep going tonight with this. It's been an hour or so and I've done this, basically removed all the shit off it, and there's the cage because it's not bolted in, it was just placed in. But this is how it is. I can't be bothered making this into a complete car. It's a bit of a piece of shit for one, and it's just loads of work. I mean, look, there's literally rust everywhere. Like, only surface, but it would all need painting over again in yellow just to be presentable. And it's not like yellow is an easy one to not look totally shit when you paint it yourself, unlike silver and stuff. Obviously I'd have to fill the gap, but that's not a big deal. That's literally least of my problems. But it's just like, it's just fucking shit. Nah. In other news, the chair that has been sitting on there for the last few months as storage, I've put back in the MR2. Yeah, the MR2's got a passenger seat again. Still room to access the ECU if I need to, but it's got a passenger seat again. So I can take people out and deafen them and scare them and, you know, use your shit. So yeah, I reckon on this now, in all honesty, I'm just gonna take all the good bits off. And but look, it's literally scabby everywhere. It's not a very nice example. No holes. I mean, that bit there clearly was meant to be more metal than that there. That's gone. There's no holes, but look at it. It's It's a bit shit. And obviously all the suspension's scabby as motherfucker. But yeah, nah. Fuck this. I'm just gonna take it all apart. A little bit of time has passed, not much. And the interior is now pretty much bare. The main thing I did this for, not because there's really that much I'm ever gonna reuse even as spares, but I wanted to weigh a few things to see, well, if they were worth removing to, you know, on other cars to make lighter. And I think the answer's, from what I felt at least, no. Let me show you. This is the bar that goes from left to right at the front of the car. It's mostly to give the dash some structure and for the steering column to be mounted. But I expect that bar going front to rear in front of the door has got some kind of structural sort of worth. It's not just for the dash, I wouldn't say. But either way, while I couldn't realistically remove it on any car, I'm glad to say it weighs fuck all. 4.8 kilos. Next up, all the heater box parts. So that part, not even a kilo. This part, well, that and that together would now add up to 1 kilo. The blower fan, which, you know, realistically, you don't want to remove that because that's your blower. And although you can get lightweight ones, that weighs 2 kilos. It's already a lightweight one. And it's a lot more effective than the dog shit lightweight ones you often buy on the internet. What else is there? Oh, this is the sound deadening that's mounted behind the dash. I did wonder about this. It's fuck all. Some cars has loads. This, it's like 0.7 kilos worth. So, not fussed about removing that. And this is the final piece, which I was a bit worried about. This is the main heater matrix, aircon matrix, you know, the big bit, potentially the heaviest bit. Two and a half kilos, weighs fucking nothing. That's good news. That's kind of put my mind at rest, because to actually remove all that shit it's not that hard, but I'd rather not do it. It's just still a messy shit awkward job. It's the next night and the shell is literally just a shell. There's nothing left on it. It is. I even pull it back on the floor and it's that light now. I did that myself. You know, you can literally pick it up on your own. So I took it, it was on four those big axle stands, but it's light enough that I lifted it up at the back, took them out, lowered it onto the floor, went to the front, did the same, done. Don't know what it weighs now, just like that, but it certainly ain't much. The only thing left on the shell, because I have removed fucking everything, that's the steering rack, all the coolant pipes that run front to rear, that's all the brake lines which run front to rear, which were in very good condition actually, so I'm glad I removed them. It's all off. Now I've took it apart completely, kind of glad that this one I'm not carrying on with, because although it's solid, a lot of, because it was scabby, a lot of it's a bit shit. Like, you know, left and right suspension didn't match. It's funny because this side has definitely been crash repaired, but that side was crash repaired more, because, well, you can see probably there, it's a fucking crumpled mess even after they'd done it. and like this has ripped off at some point, and they've welded it back on badly, but they did. But this side as well, it had obviously damaged the suspension, because it didn't, not only didn't it match this side, but it had totally different bolts in it, like the wrong bolts, not the original ones. So I'm guessing it, yeah, well, it's definitely had a smack there and damaged the suspension in the past at some point. I'm pretty certain, 99 or 100% certain, I knew it was a insurance write-off in the past. I mean, most cars are, to be honest. They just, you know. But yeah, it's pretty fucking scabby. Look at it. It's just a piece of shit. It looks way better on pictures than it does in real life. There's an actual rust hole down there near the front. Again, not a big deal. It's tiny. It's the only rust hole I've seen on the car. But fucking 90% of the car looks like it would become a rust hole if you didn't treat it now. So no. I'm glad I decided this isn't the one to carry on with. I mean, I always knew it was the crappiest one, but fuck that shit. Nah. These things aren't valuable enough in this country to worry about, you know, making anything work. Because even fucking tidy ones aren't worth much money. So, but yeah, it's this bag of shit. In other news, one good thing about taking everything apart is you can work out, you know, what's heavy and what's not for weight saving purposes. I wouldn't want to get rid of the ABS, you know, because I like it. It works well. But this is the ABS unit. It doesn't actually weigh anything. 2.5 kilos. Would I give up the ABS for 2.5 kilos? No. It's like, what's the point? It's not worth it. It's 2.5 kilos, and it's a lot of work to delete, and it's actually works very nicely on these cars. I mean, even going as far as removing power brakes. So just having unpowered brakes. So let's say the whole brake setup. So even though you'd still kind of need that bit, even if you was on an unpowered brake setup, 2.9 kilos. And just 2 for that, and that's the only bit you'd definitely be deleting. No, not worth it. If anyone's driven a car with unpowered brakes, it's not, I have, it's not very nice. You get used to it. Once you're used to it, it's not too bad. But it's, no, I would never choose to unless I fucking had to for whatever reason. Even the power steering, electric power steering on these, which often tends to be lighter anyway because there's less to it, and it's, again, it's really useful being electric power steering. It means less fucking clutter and belts and shit. But even this don't weigh that much. 4.5 kilos. Would I give up power steering for 4.5 kilos? Would I fuck? Something I would like to maybe try and make way less, because not only is it fairly heavy for what it is, but it's unsprung mass and potentially rotating unsprung mass, so it's a much bigger effect, the weight, is the brake setup and just the things in general. I mean, this is a rear hub, it's quite heavy. 7.7 kilos for the complete rear hub setup. Realistically, there's not much you can do about that, because without designing a whole new rear hub, which would be expensive to say the least, while it's not that light, not much you can do about it. This is the complete rear setup, so disc, caliper and hub, and fucking hell, it feels heavy. 17.2, so yeah, 9.5 kilos heavier than the basic hub. 4.5 of that weight is the caliper, which means the disc weighs 5 kilos, and it's a very small disc. I mean, it's the same size as this, but thinner. That's the fronts. The fronts are the same size as the rears, but the fronts are thicker. The front hub brake setup, complete, is less. It's 3 kilos less than the rear. I think it's mostly because the hub's probably a lot lighter because there's less meat on it, look. Either way, we're basically saying the discs are about 5 kilos each. And the calipers are about 4.5 each. That's some pretty small discs. So I would like, if I could, if I'm lucky, I'll have to see what's out there. I think the only worthwhile weight saving, like cost effective, of all the shit here, you know, aside from panel changing, the only other cost effective weight saving I reckon is going to be lighter discs, maybe 2-piece ones, so standard fitment but with an alloy bell center, and maybe lighter calipers if I can find some alloy ones off something else that's easy to fit. A disc and caliper each corner on this so far looks like it weighs about 10 each. So if you could knock that down to 5 each corner, it's 20 kilos off the car, which is significant. And I've looked at some like lightweight caliper and lightweight disc weights. You might be able to save more, but we'll see. Other things, this is like the front lower arm. Don't weigh anything much, pretty normal. Rear arms, there's not much. Well, you can probably get slightly lighter by using the hard race aftermarket ones and so on, but the standard ones aren't heavy at all. They are all but the rear toe arms are actually hollow. The rear toe arms are solid, the rest are hollow, so they don't actually weigh anything, you know. So yeah, interesting. I mean, even like this lot, like the rack is very light. Toyota did put some effort into making this car light. It's weird how some things are heavy, like a few things are bizarrely heavy, but most things are really light, which explains why they were like well under 1,000 kilos standard, which is relatively fucking unheard of these days. But yeah, they were also slow, but you know, can't have everything. Things are looking pretty tidier than they normally do, thanks to stripping all this and removing all this shit. But I really want this gone, just so I can move the new one in place and get on with it. So sooner this goes the better. So that's down to the scrap man picking it up. But one of the few things I can do before then, is I want to work out how much weight I can save from body panels. These doors are heavy. I just weighed them. Let me see if I can show you on the scales what it weighs. But you're talking 25.5 kilos for the door. Heavy. So yeah, these doors are heavy, and that's without the speakers and the door cards, which honestly they weighed a fair bit. The speakers especially, I was surprised how heavy they were. So you're closer to 30 fully trimmed, but that's 25.5 with just the easy bits taken off. But the game is, what can you remove? Right, so looked into it a tiny bit more, and yeah, this is 25.5. Then people reckon 28 with door cards and speakers, but I think minus the mirror, or maybe it's with mirror, I don't know. And there's fiberglass ones that I found now, the guy that does them, I think he's in Poland, and his doors, including the Lexan windows to go with it, and their ones with frames, which is what I want, 5.5 kilos each. So basically you're saving 56 kilos between the two doors, which is fucking massive. Yeah, so because I've still got more than a sneaking suspicion I can't afford his stuff, I'm going to see what I can remove from this while keeping it functioning. Right, I dismantled the door, removed all the bits, and then chopped the door. Basically, what I wanted to do is I want to chop the door in a way so it looks externally standard, of course. It's got the standard door hinges, of course. It's got the standard door lock, the standard door handle. It's got the interior handle. It's got the electric windows, because the only way I would have fixed perspex windows or whatever would be if it was a door with a frame, like I already mentioned, and this isn't a door with a frame. So I want to keep electric windows, including the sliders. That's all that lot. Don't care about the mirrors being electric, but that doesn't affect it. So unless these weigh a lot, which at first glance, at first feel they don't, then they can stay. So basically all will be staying electric. Doors will open from the outside and the inside as normal. Even the rubber seal that goes around the doors to stop noise and wet, that is still standard. Because, I mean, if you lived in a country where the weather was not shit all the time, it'd be different. But here, you need the rubber seal. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but let's weigh everything one at a time. So, start with the little one, because this doesn't feel a lot. This feels, honestly, about a kilo. 800 grams, 0.8 kilos. So yeah, no way does that need replacing with an aftermarket fucking aero whatever. This is just the runner that the windows, you know, the glass slides up and down. Also notice the overspray. It turns out the car was obviously smashed more than I thought, because this is not a standard door. I wonder, this door was once green, and there's lots of yellow overspray where it has been painted since to fix this clearly smashed to pieces over the years car. I mean, this is a driver's side as well. It's the passenger side that's definitely had a hit. This side has had a hit too. Everything's had a hit. Fucking, this must have been repaired maybe long before the cars were worthless, because why the fuck, it's almost every panel. Listen, half a kilo, I'm guessing, feels fuck all. 0.3 kilos, so even less than that. Electric window mechanism, the whole lot. 3 and a bit kilos. Okay, 2 kilos. Again, fuck all, not worth changing. Glass, nothing, honestly. People who think changing their glass windows on the side windows for perspex will help them save weight are fucking dreaming, because they don't weigh much. 3.2. So yeah, you probably save like 2 kilos maybe by going plastic. It's like, is it really worth it? Right, everything but the door weighs 6.2 kilos. Do you remember this weighed 25.5 originally? That's what it looks like. The only difference will be that I'm going to leave a thin strip down there, because there's a bit that does bolt down there and it will give a little bit of extra strength, but that's going to add like a gram. Anyway, let me pile all this on and then we get a final number, and then I can decide if it's worth it. And the result is 18.8, nearly 7. Nearly 7 per door. I can't be bothered doing that for nearly 7 per door. Don't get me wrong, that's not bad. But nah, fuck it. It's really not worth it. Because obviously I still would need to make some kind of door card, and to do this neatly, realistically, you know, as in the edges neat, so I'm not cutting myself to shit, because even that, not taking care, I cut myself a few times. Nah, it'd take a good few hours to do it nicely. 7 per door? It's only a fun car, it's not a fucking time attack car. I'd rather turn up the boost a bit. It's Sunday in silver MR2 land, with 1, 2, 3 of them here. and a fourth silver one in there. That one is Andrew's one, which is the one we did the exhaust on the other day. I think it was in the last video. And lo and behold, just like all good 1ZZs, it's blown up. It runs, but it's smoking so bad, it's unbelievable. So it's fucked. That is my new purchase. That is outside for the minute, so Thomas can do some more things on his van. But in a minute, it's going back in because the yellow one's gone. Off on the back of the scrap metal lorry earlier, and I've just been tidying up a bit. And then, yeah, the silver one will go in here soon. I got to decide where I'm putting these cages for now. I'm not worked that bit out yet, but that car can go here somewhere. And happy days. Obviously, one of these cages pretty quickly will be in that silver car, but yeah, I'm just trying to make room for everything. These tyres can go upstairs because they're spare for now. But yeah, that's where we are now with the yellow car gone for good. And it's in. The second silver one's new home for now. Not for long, hopefully, because I've got nearly all the bits to complete it, really. Pretty certain I've got a complete 1.8T. I've got the whole turbo setup, I've got a spare BAM inlet, I've got a clutch and flywheel, I've got the exhaust, I've got some wheels, well, I got wheels, it's on coilovers already. Yeah, I would say the majority of it I've got. So, yeah, bucket seats up there, carbon ones as well. Yeah, I reckon, hopefully, with luck, this shouldn't take me too long to do. Not in this video though, because I feel rough as fuck and I'm going home. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, usual shit, tell your friends, and stay tuned for the next video. Was probably gonna be, well, it's gonna be a mix of me changing the wastegate spring on this and me getting cracking on this. And probably some drive shaft welding up shenanigans too, but that's another story. So yeah, right then, I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.